If you're craving more connection in your life, then come and share some breaths with me right now, because we're going to get into this feeling of connection today. So before we do that, let's literally slow down and spend some breaths together, because I can share some beautiful things about connection, and you could keep it all neatly compartmentalized in your mind. Oh, that was nice. There were some nice words. Oh yeah, I liked that. And until we learn to take the information that we receive, allow it to land in our hearts and in our bodies, and start to take action in a new way, to actually integrate with the podcasts that we listen to and the books that we read, instead of constantly gathering the information, because it feels nice to gather, nothing's going to change. You're still going to be looking for an answer outside that's already available in you. Why is it important that we know this? Well, if you're here, then likelihood you have little people, younger people, people in your care. And when you know you have your answers inside of you, you will trust that other people, your kids, the people you're leading, have those answers inside of them as well. And you can hold space for that and silence for that. You can take the role of guiding from within instead of trying to teach from above. So, let's slow down together in this moment. If you're comfortable, you can close your eyes, and you don't have to, but draw your gaze in and your focus on your breath. There may be thoughts present. There may be judgments of me in this moment, of you in this moment. There might be sensations in your body. There might be noises all around. That's okay. We get to let that all be there. And still maintain a focus on the breath. What is your breath doing in your body? Can you start to deepen it or slow it down? Just a fraction. And I would invite you for the rest of our time together to maintain this focus on your breath, on you, in you. Because this is where connection lives. And this is where the obstacles to connection live. We think it comes from other people. We think it comes from the actions and the behaviors and the words of other people. And that is an illusion, a lie. Because as long as you are connected to yourself, then the actions and words of others, I want to say, don't matter. Ultimately, that's true. And I don't want to create an idea that the words and actions of others are just gonna wash over, and people can behave however they want to behave, and that's okay. And speaking as someone who lived that for a while in my own spiritual journey, right? Like, my connection is here, my love is here, so my boundaries are non-existent, and you can behave how you want because I know who I am and I know I'm whole, and that's not about me anyway. And that didn't serve anyone, frankly. And it's so important to come out of your head, to get into your body, and to feel connected to yourself, to see and witness yourself as the foundation of every word and action that you take. Now, you're not going to do this all the time. I haven't met anyone who does. And it's a muscle that we want to keep coming back to. So what breaks connection? Generally, often, frequently, it's a feeling that we don't want to be feeling or a thought that we don't want to be thinking. When that happens in our system, our attention and our focus will naturally go out because we don't want to be here. We don't want to be present with ourselves. We don't want to be connected with ourselves because we're experiencing something that potentially got us rejected in the past or potentially got us in trouble in the past. It's scary to stay with ourselves in those moments. And so we will project out and we'll look at whatever the circumstances, our kids, our partner, our co-parent, our boss, our workers. We look out to the world, government, and we'll say, you are making me feel XYZ. And the feeling is outside of us and we are powerless and disconnected because our attention is not where we can actually create real change, real connection, real fulfillment in any given moment. It takes a lot of effort to do this, to train our focus, to train our attention, to keep the connection with ourselves, because it isn't comfortable. And there's a potential pitfall of over-responsibility as well. Again, just reflecting on my own journey, where something would happen. Okay, well, I know that I need to stay with me, but actually, oh no, there's something for me to fix in me. Something's broken in me. Because there wasn't a full acceptance. There wasn't self-compassion for what I was experiencing. I was still being very hard on myself. And when we take responsibility in that way, it becomes heavy and burdensome. And every time we judge something, be that about ourselves or about other people, it makes that thing become like Velcro in our own systems. it gets sticky. We can't shake it because we're judging it as bad and we're judging it as wrong, and there's so much energy in that. So again, here comes the effort. The effort we apply to, okay, now I've noticed I have a judgment. My judgment blocks my connection, but only 100% of the time. And in the noticing of that judgment, what was in the way becomes the way, right? It's a Stoic philosopher quote. Now I can be with that. I can see where I'm disconnected. And I can love that. Offer myself compassion. And reconnect to myself. And the more we do this, why does this help with our parenting? We're not even talking about the kids here, right? But the more we do this, the greater our capacity to be with our own discomfort, the greater our capacity to notice our judgments and offer compassion primarily to ourselves. This is the foundation of everything that I teach, is when we can do this with ourselves first. All those pitfalls that I mentioned about over responsibility or about not having boundaries, they don't come into play because you've learned to hold a loving, compassionate space for yourself. That's the muscle we primarily build. When we do that, again, the guide that we become for the people in our care, it happens through osmosis primarily. There's no teaching required. When I look at my own children directly and see my own journey from self-judgment and from, frankly, abysmal self-worth when I started my parenting journey to where I am now, and the impact that has had on them, on my ability to stay in connection with myself when they're dysregulated and without doing anything specifically or saying some magic words, they can reconnect to them, to their safety, regulate themselves. Not because I'm teaching them anything, but because I'm being something. And that's what they're picking up. So to connect more, to create more connection in your family dynamic, whatever that looks like. And I will say this as well, is, sometimes our partners or our co-parents, I personally am divorced, they're our biggest opportunities to create more love and compassion for ourselves. And in doing so, this is a whole other video, but to create a unified family field for our kids, whether or not there's agreement between parents, whether or not there's much communication between parents, but when we are connected to ourselves, that connection, it naturally expands out. And you can hold love and compassion for everyone in your field, whether or not in the past you've experienced toxicity or you've had labels like narcissist or anything like that. I don't agree personally. Agree is the wrong word. I don't use or encourage use of those words because of what they create in your own system. And when we can change our language and change our perspective, we change our experience of people, not to create some round the fire singing songs, everyone getting on great all of the time. Wouldn't that be lovely? And for many of us, that's not a lived reality. But to create union in your family, to create unity in your family, it doesn't have to look like agreement. It doesn't have to look like family gatherings, because it's a felt sense and our kids feel it, and it comes through you being connected to you. It feels like a good place to complete for today. Thank you for sharing breaths with me. Allow this to settle into your system. And if you want to be held and facilitated to shift any of these obstacles that you may have, then I will leave my email in the description, and I do one-on-one somatic sessions to create really big shifts and transformations within yourself, which then leaks out into your life. Sending lots of love.